Urgent, Belgorod is under attack by its own forces. An emergency evacuation has been declared by the Crisis Management Center. Here we go. The enemy has never seen such fierce strikes before. Port Vistot reduced to ashes. Tankers have sunk to the bottom. A bloody collapse in Russia. A shopping mall collapsed right onto people. The snow hammer is hitting harder and harder. Russians have found themselves under blockade. Buildings have simply started collapsing under the avalanche of snow. Moscow is freezing over. This icy blow has paralyzed the entire country. Watch until the end to see all of this unfold. Ukraine welcomes you today. Rinat Aslanov here with the latest events. An emergency evacuation has been declared in Belgorod. A terrible incident has occurred there. A Russian aerial bomb was dropped on the city. The city's mayor, Valentin Demidov, reported that Defense Ministry sappers are currently inspecting the area. The dangerous zone has been cordoned off and traffic has been blocked. Residents from nearby buildings are being evacuated. The authorities are cowardly silent about the origin of the munition, but the city already knows the truth. It was a stray Putin aerial bomb. Local social media groups are exploding with anger and footage of the deadly gift to the residential area. The region's governor, Gladkov, stated that work to extract the munition is ongoing in Belgorod.
And explosive ordnance disposal experts from the Ministry of Defense are involved. Heavy machinery is being used. An emergency operations center has been set up by the city administration. At this point, more than 1,700 people have been relocated. About 50 residents are currently in the temporary accommodation center.
Urgent! There have never been such fierce strikes against the enemy before. Drones attacked a seaport in the Krasnodar region. Media reports say that the devastating strike occurred during the loading of petroleum products onto one of the tankers.
Oh. Looks like it hit.
Russian public forums haven't gone quiet for even a minute. Terrible news is spreading fast. The terminals instantly burst into flames like matches. 200 rescuers and 51 pieces of equipment are fighting the fire. Local authorities can no longer hide it. At
the moment, the fire continues on the terminal grounds. 4 tanks with petroleum products caught fire.
The operational headquarters of Krasnodar Krai admitted that as a result of the drone attack, 3 people were killed and 8 more were injured. Putin's operation is in full swing. Trouble never comes alone. In Novosibirsk, there's a bloody collapse. The shopping center collapsed right onto people's heads. The second floor folded like a house of cards. According to Russian media, at least 2 people were injured. Rescuers are clearing the rubble. The Ministry of Emergency Situations is sounding the alarm. There are still people trapped under the ruins. It is reported that the roof of the building collapsed under the weight of the snow. Judging by the photos, the second floor of the shopping center has completely collapsed.
The causes of the incident are being determined. An inspection has been ordered to check compliance with requirements for roof maintenance and timely clearing of snow from the roofs.
Russia is falling apart before our eyes. This is already the second disaster in the city this week. Before this, a snow apocalypse crushed the Albatross ski resort. While the Kremlin wages war, Russian cities are being buried under rubble and snow. Meanwhile, in Kamchatka, there's a snowfall the likes of which hasn't been seen in over 50 years. People are jumping out of windows of apartment buildings straight into snowdrifts. Local residents reported on social media about snowbanks up to 5 meters high. In Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, a municipal-level state of emergency remains in effect. Avalanche warnings are in place throughout the region.
This is the second floor.
In Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, a state of emergency was declared due to the snow collapse. 2 local residents died after being buried by snow that fell from rooftops. Against this backdrop, passenger buses in Kamchatka have stopped running. People are being transported in police vans, National Guard vehicles, and shift buses. Some residents' homes have been buried by snow, to the point that they can't get out without the help of rescuers.
All right, I'll come over right now.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism, and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
And now Moscow is being hit by a brutal cold snap. After record-breaking snowdrifts, a new devastating cyclone is about to hit the capital. Moscow still hasn't recovered from a snowfall the likes of which hasn't been seen in 56 years, and meteorologists are already sounding the alarm. An abnormal icy blast is about to hit the region, which will paralyze the city.
This is what an unplowed road looks like. On top of that, they've dumped more snow here. It's impossible to get to work. Just impossible.
A new cyclone is creeping up on Moscow. According to forecasts, the temperature in Moscow could drop to minus 20 degrees and in some areas to minus 22 or even lower. It's panic time. The entire heating system is being urgently switched to survival mode.
One got stuck, just standing there. The rest accordingly can't turn.
An icy nightmare in Russia. National emergency. Russia faces darkness, cold, a real blockade. The snow is coming down in sheets. They haven't seen an apocalypse like this in half a century. Cities stall, machines sink in drifts, people are trapped by the elements. What is happening in Russia right now? All the most shocking details. Watch further. In
Russia, it's a real Armageddon. Temperatures down to minus 60, abnormal snowfalls, and complete unpreparedness of public utilities.
The Belgorod apocalypse. There's no electricity, no water, nothing is working anywhere. Everything is in chaos.
People are melting snow to get drinking water, sitting in their apartments, in sub-zero temperatures. Meanwhile, the authorities are completely ignoring the problems. In
the Tver region, there's been no electricity for almost 48 hours. No water, nothing at all. Maybe someone at least knows. Representatives of Rossetti, send them my reel. People here are dying, freezing to death. Are you even sane? Not a single crew is coming out here. All the roads are buried in snow. People can't get out at all.
In Belgorod, after the shelling, there's a blackout. All the governor could manage was to urge people to leave or buy generators on their own.
Electricity, that's it. There's none in the whole city. That's it.
If we lose heat and electricity, we'll transport people to those municipalities that are able to take in that many people or move them to other regions. If possible, let's take the kids to relatives where there is heat and electricity.
But even that won't help, because since summer there's still a fuel shortage at gas stations.
We're searching for gasoline. Belorod, January 2nd. This is the only gas station that has gasoline. I hope there will be enough for us and that we'll make it through this line. We've already been waiting for an hour.
It's not just the remote areas. In Serpukov near Moscow, an electrical substation caught fire after a shelling.
And this entire part, the entire rest of the city, is without power.
Let's put it this way, the ring around Moscow is getting tighter and tighter. It's not Moscow yet, but things are already getting very, very lively in the Moscow region. Well, there are blackouts in Belgorod and in Bryansk too. You know, Serpukov just got hit right at the substation, the city. The city and a whole number of nearby settlements are without power. And it's not just any substation, just 3.5 kilometers away is a Russian Missile Forces military base, an academy where they train missile specialists.
A real apocalypse is happening in Kamchatka. Whole apartment buildings are literally being buried in snow. What the authorities are doing at this time is a mystery. They're not even trying to save people.
As for the residents of this entrance, I don't even know if they're lucky or not. But at least they won't have to make any extra effort to get home. All they need to do is sit down on their butts and slide down. On their feet. Oh, I mean on their butts to be precise. And there you are. What does it look like from the inside? A little hole. It's just a snowy prison for people. It's as if getting into the entrance isn't a problem. But getting out, sliding down this hill on your butt isn't hard at all. Unbelievable. That's it, freedom. And
these are regions where Ukrainian drones almost never reach. A communal blessing. It's completely absent there. And the power lines can't handle it, and it's impossible to repair them too.
Initially, they attempted to freeze people, but unfortunately, the electrical wiring simply could not handle the load because the entire building was being heated using multiple space heaters. Now, in a desperate move, they have completely cut the power supply as well. At this very moment, 5 fire trucks have just arrived on the scene to extinguish the growing fire. That is the current situation right now.
the tower's dead. Chantel is trying to pull through. It's unclear how. Completely on the bridges. They haven't even reached the damage yet. The damage is all the way over there.
And of course, there are plenty of problems in the temporarily occupied territories. Where the adepts of the Russian world promised a wonderful life, people are also freezing.
Please help us. We're just surviving. We're just on the edge of survival. Considering it's winter, it's very cold, there's snow on the ground. Yes, people are just surviving for 10 hours without electricity.
But you can endure anything, especially if every day on TV they tell you how great and mighty Russia is.
We're happy, we're glad that we live in Russia. On the other hand, we definitely wouldn't want anything else. We like everything. We're happy, we're proud. But there are still no sewage treatment plants. So when you go to Ananino, people just dump everything onto the road. And the stench too. Yes, that's the only downside.
And it's nothing that, in order to turn off the lights in a neighboring country, we ourselves have to sit without electricity and heat, buried in snow up to the roof.
Destruction not only in the rear, but also at the front. Pokrovsk flared up, and in Pivedro he tore the cluster of occupiers to shreds. The Russians are in panic and chaos. Kupiansk has become a zone of total cleansing. The enemy is being swept away with no chance. Meanwhile, the Russians rush toward Vovchansk in the Kharkiv region, but it's too soon for them to celebrate. There's a surprise waiting for them there. Here's what's really happening on the line of combat. A full military overview is coming up next.
The Ukrainian armed forces like how they're scrambling Pokrovsky direction of the front Donetsk region. A Russian soldier's GoPro camera captures the moment an FPV drone strikes a group of occupiers.
Call sign. You have the call sign. Carlson.
And these two natives, Russian and African, met in Ukraine. And perhaps this is the last thing they see in their lives.
Russian special services have taken the path of scaling up recruitment activities, primarily on the African continent. This solves two problems at once. The first is replenishing the personnel of the armed forces of the occupying country. And the second is purely economic. The Russian budget is already, in fact, stalling when it comes to financing the active phase of hostilities, first and foremost. This concerns the material support of Russian servicemen.
The search and strike group Kartia controls the center and the city council building of Kupiansk. The warriors continue to clear the city of Russian filth.
At the moment, Ukraine's defense forces are conducting strike and summons operations aimed at eliminating the remaining Russian servicemen. In addition, Ukraine's defense forces have blocked further advancement of Russian occupiers toward the key railway station Kupiansk-Uslovoy.
The Ukrainian side reports that the Russians are trying to bypass Vovchansk. In the Kharkiv region, they are carrying out active maneuvers to push Ukrainian forces out of the city.
In addition, Ukraine's defense forces are holding the commanding heights in the area of the Vovchansk farmsteads, preventing the occupiers from advancing deeper into Ukrainian territory. And
That's it, guys. From the 422nd Separate Battalion of Unmanned Systems, the Luftwaffe is fiercely denazifying Russian occupiers in the Zaporizhia direction.
At the moment, the occupiers have concentrated their main combat operations on the flanks of the Ukrainian grouping, with the aim of creating the so-called small cauldron of operational encirclement of Ukrainian units in the Huliaipol area. The main strike is in the direction of the settlement of Zelenoye, with the threat of advancing directly towards Orek. The Russian sides claim that their assault groups have secured positions on the outskirts of Orekov does not correspond to reality.
I asked for bread. This inscription in the snow was left by a resident of Konstantinovka, Donetsk region. The message was noticed by a UAV operator, a serviceman with the call sign Malyuk, who brought the elderly woman bread and cookies. In response, she left another message in the snow, this time expressing her gratitude.
Urgently, Ukrainian drones have reached the Kremlin sanctuary. In the SU, they blew up the Hazel Grove. A hellish raid on the training ground. Kapustin Yar is on fire. Putin's Mandarin waffle is no more. Has Putin really lost his main trump card? All the details of the humiliation of Russia's mega weapon. Watch. Putin's Hazel Grove under drone attack. Kapustin Yar is an ordinary settlement where people still live. It is here, at the military training ground, that Russia launches ballistic and cruise missiles meant to hit targets hundreds of kilometers away. And all of this is literally right next to where people live.
This is a place where different types of weapons are tested. And in this case, we're talking about the fact that there are simply launchers or test stands there that would allow for this. To launch an intercontinental ballistic missile, I will always refer to the Oreshnik as a shortened intercontinental ballistic missile because we're not talking about any kind of medium-range ballistic missile here. In
particular, from that very place. On January 9th, Russia launched the Oreshnik towards the Lviv region. But soon after, strikes hit the very testing ground from which the bunker dwellers' deadly weapons are launched.
Kapustin Yar was attacked by drones. The central testing ground from where the Oreshnik is launched came under attack. Russia was unable to protect this strategic facility.
And this isn't even the first attack on the testing ground. Drones struck it last summer as well.
There is already evidence confirming that strikes on Kapustin Yar have taken place, and they were carried out with the aim to destroy the launches that could be used to strike Ukrainian territory. So, in principle, there are quite a few unremarkable things there that can be destroyed, thereby reducing Russia's potential to use this type of weapon. Another very important aspect of the strikes on Kapustin Yar, it's the opportunity to strike at test samples or at a warehouse of partially finished products.
But what's interesting is that missiles intended for Ukraine are increasingly landing in Russia, and not always gently. This even applies to Putin's very own Oreshnik, with which he so fiercely tries to intimidate the world.
Oreshnik. On February 6th, Russia reportedly launched a second missile of the same type, which was aimed at Kyiv. Sirens sounded in the city, but no strikes followed. The missile didn't travel far and exploded on Russian territory.
And it's not just Oreshnik. There's another missile with which the bunker dwellers threaten the whole world. Sarmat. But the thing is, it hasn't even been launched yet. Well, actually, it was launched twice, but both times it crashed in Russia itself. So what's the secret behind such successes of the Russian Federation?
What, it crashed? Yes, it crashed.
This is the direct and unfortunate result of those catastrophic crashes, violent explosions during launch, and various failed launches. This is primarily because Russia has gradually lost its fundamental ability to access quality technical capabilities, or has completely lost the vital technical base that is historically and strategically located within the borders of Ukraine. Of course, they still have engineers, they are working, they are trying to create something.
What is originally intended and supposed to be a powerful weapon used against Ukraine, sometimes unexpectedly turns into a very direct and dangerous threat to the Russian people themselves. Furthermore, the frequent Ukrainian drone strikes targeting key Russian military infrastructure only serve to further amplify and intensify this chaotic effect across the region.